This hour is brought to you.
Back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be joined this hour by Deborah Tavares. She is a third-generation land developer of residential construction. She's been self-employed in a family-operated business for over 30 years. She specialized in land feasibility studies, acquisitions, and building permit processes, including required environmental impact reports, along with furnishing Department of Real Estate subdivision requirements and the entire construction build-out to completion. The woman is very smart. It was during the process of these restrictions that she found out about these problems with property rights became evident under the creeping constraints of the United Nations Agenda 21. She's been spreading the word about smart meters, global warming issues, weaponized frequencies. She's highly visible in her opposition to these issues. She's been on the Power Hour many times. We're so glad to have her join us today. Thank you, Deborah, for joining us in the Power Hour today.
Well, Joyce, thank you so much. The hour's really actually very late, and I want to start out with that because I'm going to be painting a rather gloomy picture, but I'm also going to be talking about things that people can do. So I
told everybody to get the duct tape ready, so we're ready to go.
Yeah, good. I'm going to start out with a quote. This is from former FBI director, and it's a warning. Quote, "The individual is handicapped by coming face-to-face with a conspiracy so monstrous he cannot believe it exists. The American mind simply has not come to the realization of the evil which has been introduced into our midst. It rejects even the assumption that human creatures could espouse a philosophy which must ultimately destroy all that is good and decent." This is former FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover in 1956.
Wow.
Now, the reason I led the show with that, Joyce, is because what I'm going to be saying pivots into that. We've got to now understand our reality. We don't have any time, and education and reading documents is going to be required because we can't sit back. Anyone who sits back, anyone that says this is too big, I can't do anything about this, you're part of the perpetrators. And you've got to break away from that thinking. And more importantly, you've really got to understand what I'm talking about. The first thing I'm going to go into, Joyce, is the fact that we do not have local, state, or federal governments. We do not have government. And I have a YouTube video up on our YouTube channel of stopthecrime.net. And anyone that's listening can simply type in, "Who's running America?" That will break down the ways in which your local city halls, your local counties are all incorporated and what that really means. And what is important to understand is we are USA Inc. In fact, we're Earth Inc. We have corporate predatory government agencies that have deceived the global populations, set themselves up as legitimate governments, and they're not. And sadly, Joyce, the tragedy of the corporate structure is the illusion of justice, freedom, and democracy. I'm going to just read you a quote from Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens, 2010. "Corporations have no conscience, no beliefs, no feelings, no thoughts." And I'm going to add to that, they have no morals, and they have no consideration for life itself. Because when you look at the corporate charters, there's no mention of life. And why is this important? We are being run by corporations. We're being run by people in the Committee of 300. People need to look that up. Now, I'm going to give out a phone number because I'm going to be talking about a lot of documents today. Everything that you're going to hear me talk about is fully documented, and everything is a free download from stopthecrime.net. But for anybody who's not able to download, you can call a print shop that we have set up for the cost of copying and postage. You can get any of these documents by contacting area code 707-586-9558. Once again, area code 707-586-9558. Now, what's vitally important, number one, for everyone to understand, is what it says in Senate Report 93549. This is critical, and this again is on stopthecrime.net. You can go to the USA Inc. link and read this. But what this tells us is ongoing every single year, as long as the president extends the national state of emergency. All other branches of government are usurped. The Constitution has been abolished. Bill of Rights has been abolished. We have no judiciary system. And all the rules, all the statutes, all the corporate statutes are going through the executive branch via executive order. This is why so many people are scratching their heads and saying, you can't do this. This is dictatorial. Yes, it is. And it tells you this in Senate Report 93549. None of us were taught this in school. This has been ongoing since 1933. Every single year since, we have been in a dictatorial, fascist government corporate structure that has absolutely been seizing every aspect of our lives. It's extremely predatory and very dangerous. We must move out of the notion that we have any representation at all. We do not. We were warned many times throughout history. There are many documents. Even John F. Kennedy warned us that there was a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy, and there is. And if you're not looking at the conspiracies, then I will tell you, you are not looking at reality, because the reality is a conspiracy. We have been conspired against by a group, committee of 300, global international bankers, all hiding behind a corporate structure that is literally set to take over our minds. And I heard you mention prior to my coming on about Facebook. That is showing mind control. That's what this is all about. This is the larger picture of the psychotronic weaponized warfare that is being conducted upon the American and global populations. And what does that mean? Well, that means now that we have launched into a new type of warfare. We're all on a battlefield. And when you look at Senate Report 93549, it tells you we're the enemy. We are the enemy. We're the enemy of this corporate government structure that is layered. It's a layered systems of corruption. The economics, the military, all layered corporate structure run by the corporations. The military-industrial complex does not work for us. Even our intelligence systems are corrupt, and they're working against us, CIA, etc. Our economy is corrupt to the core. In fact, I would recommend people listen to what Catherine Austin Fitts has to say about the economy. She was a whistleblower on what was going on in the White House, and I can tell you that every system in our government, HUD, the EPA, everything is a weaponized corporate structure. They're listed on Dun & Bradstreet. They are doing business for profit. They do not serve us. What has occurred is every aspect of our lives has been conscripted, and all the resources have been conscripted and been militarized, weaponized, and corrupted. Now, I know this may sound over the top, but I'm not even telling you the extent of our reality at this moment. It is very, very important. The most important thing is for everybody to read and understand that we do not have federal, state governments. They're not real. They're all privately owned corporations calling themselves governments. And even the judges are privately employed administrators called judges, and the laws are nothing more than their corporate regulations called statutes. Now, I'm going to refer everyone to a book that I would recommend you read. It has documentation in it. You can take a look at your true history, of which we have been denied, which is why we're in the place that we are in right now. I would recommend everyone reading The Great American Adventure, Secrets of America, by retired Judge Dale. That's The Great American Adventure, Secrets of America, by retired Judge Dale. There's also a companion paper that he wrote called The Matrix and the U.S. Constitution. Judge Dale was a sitting judge for about 11 years, and he was asked by his brother to help him with an IRS issue. And when Judge Dale looked into that, he fell into his reality. He became extremely depressed. All his education, everything that he had learned in school, was all an illusion. And so he started digging into it with other researchers across the country. He's written many books, as many researchers have. He really does an excellent accounting of our history. Few people realize that Columbus did not discover America. Also, few people realize the truth behind the California Gold Rush. I would highly recommend you read The Great American Adventure, Secrets of America. Again, it's a free download off of stopthecrime.net, or you can order that through the print shop, 707-586-9558, 707-586-9558. Now, I'm going to read a couple of things because this is absolutely critical, and where you can follow along if you are looking at your computer right now is you can go to stopthecrime.net. You can go to the homepage where you will see quick links, and under that you will see hot radio show topics and docs. I'm going to be going through a number of these documents as we proceed through the Power Hour.
Okay, we're going to be back after this 4-minute break. Deborah Tavares, I'm telling you, she is an education. She is an education. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars is also included in the Great American Adventure. It's 119 pages if you download it, 121 pages, or you can get it from Deborah at the phone number. We'll be back after this 4-minute break. Stay tuned. This is Joyce and JD. You are writing this down, you got a pencil and paper in front of you, or able to put this on the computer, because I'm telling you, this is excellent information. Again, JD, give the phone number where they can get these documents if you're not online.
I believe that was the 707-586-9558 phone number.
Okay, give it one more time.
707-586-9558.
Or you can go to stopthecrime.net and print it out yourself. Again, the article she's talking about, The Great American Adventure, is 121 pages to print out in its entirety. So just to let you know. It's going to be a shock for a lot of people today. So if you're a new listener to the Power Hour, we sort of apologize in that you're getting the full dose of what people learn after years of studying all of this.
Yes.
Deborah's going to give it to you today. Go ahead, Deborah, and thank you so much for your incredible thoroughness.
Well, Joyce, thank you. And this is not intended to shock people. We have no choice but to understand our reality, because we are in a virtual reality. We are in a reality that has been created stealthily over many, many, many decades and decades. And we are pawns in a movie script, figuratively speaking. We are being used, and we are being played. We are being poisoned and by every level imaginable. This battlefield is different from now any prior battlefield, in that the psychotronic weapons and the weapons of speed of light weaponry from satellites, cell phone towers, Gwyn towers, antennas, all of your wireless gadgets that you now have become addicted to because of frequencies have now entrained your minds. The globalists told us a long time ago, and it was told us in the Quiet Weapons Silent Wars document, again, a download off of stopthecrime.net. They wanted total control of all energy. And we are energy. Our bodies, we are frequencies. They want control of our minds. They are hive mining us. This means they are collecting all of us into a global brain. Now, when I first heard about that, I thought, what on earth does that mean? How can they do this? I didn't understand what quantum computers meant. I didn't know that they could steal our minds, our thoughts. I also did not know that they could invade us with frequencies that could control our thoughts, our emotions, and even direct our physical actions. Well, I want to tell you, they can. And you need to attempt to understand the level of assault upon all of us, because I wrote an article, and again, it's on stopthecrime.net under the quick links under hot show topics, and I'm exposing the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. You need to understand they are talking about the effects of frequencies on the general population. They refer to it as the zombie apocalypse. We are going to see and witness more and more unexplainable eruptions of emotions and anger all across the country and increasingly in high population density zones. We're going to see more shootings. We're going to see more craziness that really doesn't have, just doesn't seem right, and it's not. It's because people's minds now are interfaced and being directed. An example of that would be if you search 2014 in the San Francisco Bay Area on BART, which is the train. There have been groups, gangs, forming up between 50 and 100 at a time, boarding the trains, injuring, punching, stealing from the BART riders, and then getting off the trains. The police are calling this wilding. This is an example of frequencies. Again, Facebook did the same thing. They're showing how easy it is to entrain our moods and thoughts. This is psychological warfare. This is warfare of mind entrainment with frequencies. So I would recommend everyone understand the power that has now been asserted upon us, that has been skillfully laid out. This is all a plan. When you go onto the Internet and you type in antennasearch.com, ANTENNA, antennasearch.com, or even towergenie.com, TOWERGENIE.com, you will be able to get a radius map of the psychotronic weaponized systems that have been deployed in your neighborhood, in your city. This is a mass deployment of frequencies.
Okay, again, that website is what? Or look at what?
TowerGenie.com or antennasearch.com.
Okay.
And we have a flyer.
Okay, we got to go to this break. We'll be back. We got a 3-minute break. We'll be back with Deborah Tavares. Remember, you can get the CD at the Power Hour of this show today. We'll be right back. 3 minutes. This is Jade. Tavares today, oh my goodness. I mean, nonstop information. That's why we want you to get a CD of this program. It's only $5, and you can have all of Deborah Tavares this hour today. And we also have previous programs that she's done because she is so well documented. You could get it at the Power Mall. Call us at 877-817-9829, 877-817-9829, or go to thepowermall.com. All right, Deborah, go ahead, please. I don't want to stop you because you have got so much stuff, good stuff for us today. And where is Deborah? Do we have Deborah on the line? Wow.
Okay.
I can't imagine why anybody would cut her off.
Me neither.
Hello?
Well,
Yeah.
NSA would probably cut her off. There she is.
Okay, there you go. Go ahead,
Okay.
Deborah, please.
Okay, yes. I was talking about brain entrainment and psychotronic weaponized warfare, and in order to explain this better, you can go to stopthecrime.net. Again, go to the quick link. Go over to the hot show topics and watch a YouTube video we have posted there. It's called Wires in the Brain. This is by Rodolfo Linus. That's RODOLFO LLINAF, Rodolfo Linus. Understand, he is a scientist. He was brought over from Bogota, Colombia to the New York University, and he has been interfacing nano wires in the brain. And you can watch the video. The military became extremely interested in this project, and now this is what has happened. It has been weaponized against the global population. Another extremely important document we have posted, because I'm looking at the time. I'm not going to have time to go through everything I would like today, Joyce, but I would encourage everyone to go to Satellites Vision 2020 and understand the satellite Star Wars system is fully weaponized. They're talking about the ways in which they can use, for example, uranium rods that they can send to Earth at 7,200 miles an hour. It can target any underground location and pinpoint targets anywhere. That's only one of the many ways that the war games are being played upon this planet. I can't underscore the importance of the Iron Mountain Report. The Iron Mountain Report talks about what many of these policies that now we're being confronted with to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, reduce your carbon footprint. This is all science fraud. This is corporate profiteering off of lies. Every single thing at this point is reversed. It's all doublespeak. We hear non-lethal when it's deadly. We hear the lies now becoming truths. We know that our children are now being taught in school under the new Common Core curriculum and even prior. In science are learning that global warming is a fact. It is a falsified corporate lie. And so I've got to just quickly refer everyone again to watch Who's Running America and the Climate Action Plan. Again, it's a YouTube that we have up on our site. We talk about the Climate Action Plan. This is a revenue building policy. Very soon you are going to have energy audit inspector teams roving through your neighborhoods, knocking on your doors, wanting to come in and do an energy audit. Even your utility companies are behind this now. Do not let them in your homes. Go to, again, the quick links on stopthecrime.net. Download the questionnaire for government employees. It's only a 2-page questionnaire. Remember, the corporation statutes are running the show. They are unlawful. They are not laws under a constitution. We did not vote for these, and none of us agreed. But I can tell you right now, your not consenting is your agreement. Be very careful with any contracts that you sign. Be very, very careful. And I'm going to quickly say right now, we have a vaccination link on stopthecrime.net in California, and there are 17 other states that are soon to follow. All children prior to enrolling in this coming year's school must fill out a different kind of a vaccination opt-out form. It is a form that they must now take to their pediatrician or recognized healthcare provider, and it is a parental trap. Essentially, there are many questions in this form, which you can see them again under the vaccine link on stopthecrime.net. It will get you to parents against mandatory vaccines. But understand, if you sign this, one of the questions is saying that you realize that you have been told that your child becomes an unvaccinated child will deliver diseases to the vaccinated children in the classroom. And there are many questions. Literally, it's putting you up into the hands of the Child Protective Services, because they can come to you and say you've agreed and you've recognized that you're not vaccinating your child and it could be harmful to other children. Again, this is another trap so that your children can be forced vaccinated. This is huge. This is extremely important. Understand that it's not going to be easy anymore to opt out. In fact, recently in New York, they ruled that no more exemptions for religious purposes would be allowed for opting out of vaccination. So I can tell you we're in tremendous trouble. We have a weaponized, evil, corrupt system that has been stealthily postured as a representative government. Again, it is not. We are being taken apart. And I can tell you in Judge Dale's book, he says this: Americans have been indoctrinated through expert programming, conditioning, prejudice, and patriotism to treat information like this as being ridiculous, absurd, and untrue. Time to grow up, America. Look around you. Look at your lives. They have been they've eliminated the family farms, the local stores, placed us into cities, given our industry away to break the unions, issued valueless currency, stolen our gold, and involved us in staged wars, begun a mass foreclosure of American homes, and poisoned our air, our public water, and our food supply. Now, all of this, of course, can continue to go on as long as we are quiet and we are consenting, because we do not recognize that we have a corporate statutory system. The attorneys, as you will learn in Judge Dale's book and in the other book, The Matrix and the U.S. Constitution, are fomenting the lie and the illusion that we have representation in a judiciary system, in a court system that does not exist for our purposes or benefits. It only exists now to benefit the corporate bottom line. This is why cities now are powerless. They're incorporated. And again, that's the reason why you want to listen to Who's Running America. But I want to read a letter very quickly. Again, it's on stopthecrime.net. It was written in October of 2007 by a representative guest out of Missouri. And he said, "Dear member of the legislature and friends, this letter is to ask for your help for the many constituents in our country who have been affected unjustly by electronic weapons of torture and covert harassment groups. Serious privacy rights and violations and physical injuries have been caused by the activities of these groups and their use of so-called non-lethal weapons on men, women, and even children. I am asking you to play a role in helping these victims and also stopping the massive movement in the use of RFID-chipped technologies." Well, it's important now. This letter was written in 2007. They no longer need RFID-chipped technologies to be placed in people that are unaware of surgical procedures and the placement of chips. Now, of course, it's through chemtrails, and you'll understand that chemtrails do now use in their aerosol spraying program nanofibers, and this is nano brain entrainment. This is synthetic growth of wiring in our bodies. You can go to another link on stopthecrime.net. It sounds macabre. It is. It's entitled No More Humans. And understand, this is an attempt by those in power with the physics and science and the money to reduce the global population. We are under what they call a transhumanism agenda, a replacement program. We are free thinkers. We're too kind, they believe. They can't trust us because at any time we could change our minds. Machinery and robots do not change their minds. They're directed. This is what we face. This is real, and this is happening. I'm going to read another partial letter from former Senator John Glenn. It was a congressional record, Senate Report 645, again, a free download from stopthecrime.net under radio show Hot Topics. Senator Glenn said, "I raise today to introduce Human Research Subject Protection Act of 1997. I send the bill to the desk." Mr. Glenn says, "If I approached any senator here and I told you, and you did not know, but the last time you or your family went to the doctor or went to the hospital, your wife, your husband, your daughter, or your son became the subject of a medical experiment that they were not even told about. They were given medicine. They were given pills. They were given radiation. They were given something they were not told about. This would even, and they were not informed about, and yet they are under the same experimental research that might possibly do harm. Maybe it will do some good, or maybe it will harm them. But they did not know about it." People would laugh at all of this, and they'd say, "This is ridiculous. This cannot possibly happen in this country." Yet this is the very situation. He goes on to say, "I have been in public life and have served this country for many years. Frankly, I do not think too many things that I see now surprise me anymore about our laws, about our government." Now, what's important is for you to understand what is the reality, and I'm saying this to you right now. Go to Senate Report 93549. When you don't understand the laws and the government, that is because we do not have a government. It is a de facto government. So he goes on, 3 years ago, I began to learn about a gap in our legal system that truly concerns me. In 1993, the Government Affairs Committee began to investigate the Cold War radiation experiments. These experiments are one of the unfortunate legacies of the Cold War. When the government sponsored experiments involving radiation on our own citizens without their consent, they did not even know the experiments were being run on them. It was without their consent. One of the most infamous of these experiments took place in my own state, he tells us, in Ohio, where scores of patients of the University of Cincinnati were subjected to large doses of radiation during experimental treatments without their consent, without their informed consent. And during the course of this investigation, I began to ask the question, what protections are in place to prevent this? And, of course, he found that there were none. So, again, I can only tell you, we are facing an enormous assault upon humanity. We literally are at near extinction rates if this continues, and we do not understand what has happened. You can download this book on stopthecrime.net under, again, Hot Show Radio Topics, Were We Controlled, by Lincoln Lawrence. Were We Controlled, by Lincoln Lawrence. I would refer you to pages 25 to 32. You can just read it on our website. Extremely important to understand what the Aquarius Operations Briefing has told us. They have planned and have already used chemicals to sedate the population. And now they're using radio microwave frequencies for mass mind control. This is a document at the top of the homepage of stopthecrime.net. You must understand.
All right. It's 50 after the hour. We'll be back with Deborah Tavares after this 3-minute break. Stay tuned to the Power Hour. This is Joyce and JD. We'll be right back. Deborah Tavares today. Now remember, you can get this CD of the entire hour for $5 at the Power Mall. Call us at 877-817-9829, 877-817-9829. And in the next hour, we're going to be talking to Attorney Scott Tips on Codex Alimentarius, the silent stalker of your health freedom. So we're going to continue on the reduction of health freedom issue in the next hour. Go ahead, Deborah. Such incredible information, and thank you for being so explicit about where the information is and how people can get it.
Well, we don't have a lot of time to understand our current reality, and as horrific as it seems, it's empowering to understand what is occurring, because what will happen, this education is necessary to create safer communities for all of us, because we're going to have people having emotional breakdowns, mental disorders. And this is identified by the CDC, because the CDC backs the false science of global warming and climate change. In fact, again, that is why I cannot underscore watching Who's Running America. Because I outline what is happening with these climate action plans. Understand, this corruption, all of this is a predatory, dangerous system, and it needs money. It takes money to continue to keep this monster going. So it's revenue-based. Any and everything that they can extort from us now, they will. You're going to see increased fees now for water resources, for electricity with the smart meters now. You're also going to see the requirements to change and upgrade aspects of your homes with replacement of all of your appliances. Smart meters are now required in the climate action plans. This is all revenue-based to make money and impoverish us. This is imploding our home, one community at a time. This is tremendous profit for the bankers. They're allowing drugs to come into our communities. It brings down the home values. People lose their jobs. They're making money on the downhill. They pump us up, and then they dump us. Now we see houses being sold for pennies on the dollar. It's all part of the money game for massive revenue. So I can only say it's an immediate requirement that people understand what we face. By not educating yourself, you become the problem. And we don't have a lot of time to have people not on board the ship. We're all on board whether you want to be or not. And so I can say to you, the success of all of this requires your not consenting, and it requires your becoming educated to understand your reality. I want to say that the NSA's Signals Intelligence EMF Scanning Network is a covert domestic spy program which uses brain scanners deployed via the NSA signals intelligence satellites remotely scan the brainwaves of all American citizens. The NSA's SIGNET EMF scanning network is an outgrowth of the Pentagon and the CIA's MIND and TAMI, T-A-M-I, MK Ultra mind control programs. What is happening now is AI computers now can monitor the unique brain waves of every individual person on the planet. And this technology has enabled NSA to brand us like heads of cattle. I would refer everyone to the source document tab on stopthecrime.net. You can read The Matrix Deciphered by Robert Duncan, The Matrix Deciphered by Robert Duncan, to learn about how this system is working and how it's attacking and assaulting every American, every person on the planet. I cannot underscore enough the need to immediately read documents like NWO Exposed.
Okay, we got to go to this break. Hold it right there, and we'll be back after this 1 minute, 10-second break. Final segment coming up with Deborah Tavares. Deborah.
Joyce, thank you. The NASA war document that we have posted on stopthecrime.net is essential for everyone to look at. Read page 55. Understand what is legal now as far as the weapons systems are concerned. Microwave RF technology, chemical weaponry, psychological effects on our sensory organs are all legal. Again, psychological, psywar, acoustic weaponry. They even say nanodust used in the aerosol spray that we inhale into our lungs, and which will bore into our lung tissues and execute various pathological missions, is a completely new class of weaponry, and it is legal. They also tell us on page 45 of the NASA war document, free download on stopthecrime.net, on page 45, beam weaponry will become increasingly prevalent, and it has. They're using neurotoxins now. They've poisoned the air, the water, and the food supply. They are educating us by dumbing us down, the new Common Core curriculum, and even before. No one understood what happened in 1933 with the elimination of the Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and the replacement of everything by corporate statutes. So again, Senate Report 93549 is essential to understand the foundation of how all of this has occurred. I will also say this is a quote from the former CIA director, William Casey, in 1981, quote, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." Again, this is the virtual reality that we have been put in. We have allowed, because we have been kept busy, they have caused chaos in our homes. They've caused much chaos where we now have many families that are splintered, and they're having to work 2 jobs to survive. This is all part of the manipulation and the plan that you can read in the New World Order, NWO Exposed, 1969, by an insider. Again, short documents, quick reads to get a handle. Now, I can tell you, this is difficult to digest. Many people go through a period of depression and feeling very sad and betrayed. You have been. You have been betrayed. Get through the process of the adjustment into your reality.
Good point.
Don't allow yourselves to be used any longer. The price you are now paying is the manipulation of your bodies. We are going to be literally used like robotic toys with a remote controllable ability. Good and decent people are going to be used to commit criminal acts, violent criminal acts. We're seeing this happening all over the country. Again, this is all manipulation. We're seeing increased anger, increased irritability. Our spines are being used as antenna for frequencies. Go to the top of the homepage of stopthecrime.net. In the scroll that runs across the top, you can print off the list of symptoms as a result of frequencies and microwave radiation. Understand how people, your friends, your family members are feeling. Keep tabs. People are now going to the doctor if they're getting feeling nervousness, or they're having vertigo, or they're vomiting. Doctors are not trained. It is a weaponized medical program. They are not trained to understand the effects of these psychotronic weapons now that are being used on all of us.
Wow. Deborah, I cannot thank you enough. Amazing work, amazing research. You are to be commended by all of us. Thank you for your role in all of this. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on today.
You have a blessed day. We'll be back after this 3-minute break with